So, hello traders, welcome to this YouTube video. It's a special one today. I've actually got one of my students in, Leo Waters. So, Leo has done fantastically well with his trading since joining me. So, we're just going to dive into his experiences and, yeah, hopefully get some positive feedback from Leo. So, how are you, Leo? Having a good day?
I'm doing fine, thanks. It's a nice sunny day here.
Yeah,
Yeah, a nice quiet Sunday. Yeah, so I'm doing good, thanks. Yeah.
good man. Yeah, based in Germany now, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been in Berlin since 2020. I've been
Yeah,
based here for quite a while, although I'm originally from the UK. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, probably better weather, I take it, over there than
Yeah, it's
England.
okay. I like this cold, sunny weather is good, and we get plenty of it. It's okay.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. So yeah, just if you want to just tell us a bit about yourself, a bit about your journey, how you found me, and things like that. That'd be great.
Yeah, so I've been trading since about 2015. I got into it with a mate of mine who'd been working on the in London. He was trading there in London. He said, "Well, why don't you look after your own money? Yeah, don't put it into other people's hands." I'd just come back from Georgia Tbilisi and won the World Team Backgammon Championships, which was a
Oh,
fantastic achievement for me. And this is all about pattern recognition. And he said, "Well, pattern recognition, that's something that's quite good in trading too. Maybe you should try that out." So
mm.
I was very enthusiastic. I said, "Okay, I'll go for that." And of course, I lost a whole lot of money. Thought, oh, this would be easy.
Standard.
Didn't really educate myself at all, kind of dived in and lost a ton of money quite quickly. But
Yeah,
I got the
yeah,
bug. I kind of got really interested in it. And then I started to educate myself and I went to various different services and eventually ended up at yours. And, up to that point, what was it, 2022, I think I
something like that.
started.
Yeah,
Before that, I had been at another service and I had got profitability there,
yeah.
but I gave it all back. Yeah,
Oh,
I made a lot of money and then I gave it all back, and I was just like, oh, this is so disappointing. Yeah,
mhm.
and they didn't really focus so much on the psychology in that previous service, and so I wanted to look for a service that offered more kind of psychological help because I think that was what I needed. It
Yeah,
wasn't the system. I had a good system. It was a profitable system, and I put a lot of work into it, back tested, forward tested. So I knew I had an edge in the market, but I
yeah,
just couldn't get that consistency because of emotional, psychological issues. So that was what I wanted. I wanted to find a service that created systems,
yeah,
but also focused specifically on how to deal with psychology in trading and in life in general. So that's what attracted me to your service because I saw that that's what you focused on, and that was
yeah,
a main kind. That was an SP of yours, in
yeah,
your service, a special kind of selling point. So I decided to give it a go, and I was really impressed with the. I did all your courses, and I think there's two or three courses that you had. I did them all because they
yeah,
were really nicely priced at that time, and and I found them very, very helpful. Yeah, especially the psychology course. That was excellent, really nicely designed, and it's focused on a lot of the things that I needed, which was reframing negative thinking, which was how to deal with losing. I mean, that's the biggest issue, isn't
yeah,
it, for
yeah,
traders? I don't know. Your experience is how do you deal with losers?
yeah,
That immediately triggered me. When I had a loser, I'd go straight into revenge mode, and then I'd give a lot of money back that I'd made over a period of months. So that was my main focus: how to dealing with losses,
mm.
and dealing with losses in life too. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah, yeah,
an issue, with the family members and other things when you have to deal with that, and that's happened to me recently too. So I found this really quite helpful. So I did the courses, I joined the Discord group, and then I did the kind of one-to-one coaching with you.
yeah. We did a bit of one to
I
one, didn't we?
found
Yeah,
I found that yeah, I found that really helpful. You were very, very amenable. You kind of tailored the material to what I needed. Listened. Yeah, that's a major thing these days. Is people
yeah.
listening. Yeah, this is
Short attention spans these days.
yeah, that's right. And I felt that you really listened to what my difficulties were, and that made a huge difference to me. So since 2022, I'd say over the last 6 months to a year, I have become consistently profitable for the first time since 2015. I'm so happy about that. And that's been a hard journey for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, over that period. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. I mean, I've done a lot of things in my life. I'm a teacher at university. That's what I do in my job. But trading is so much harder.
Yeah.
It's and so it's I'm so happy that I've got to that stage where I can say that I have been consistent, not just for a month or two, but over a
Yeah.
period of months.
Yes, it's a long time. So 7 years, I think it is. Is that right?
Yeah,
7 years. So,
2015, 16, yeah.
so a lot of up and downs. So I can imagine there was moments where you was like, I don't know if I could do this anymore. Like I bet you were thinking you were doubting a lot of the time. What kept you going?
Well, yeah, it's not only self-doubt, it's other people doubting you as well. You
Yeah,
know, you don't
that's
have people around you that support you and that think what you're doing is a good thing, and that's also very hard. And I struggled with that too. The various friends of mine and family members were saying, well, "What are you doing?" Yeah, and you know, admitting that you lose it, that you've lost a lot of money is also quite hard.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, doing that to people who are like, you know, what are you doing? You're throwing money away. You could have done this, that, and the other with it. And so that was also quite hard. But I'm not one to give up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that if I kept going, I wasn't going to be defeated on this. If I kept going, if I educated myself, if I could get some kind of emotional control, then this would be a big thing, not just with trading, but in life in general. Yeah,
Mm.
you know, this had been an issue for me in my past, in my childhood, that, you know, there, you know, emotional things that have got in my way. So I thought, well, this is a path to go down, not just for making money and trading, but also for life,
Yeah.
for improving your self-development in general. So I thought, well, if I give up on this now, then I'm kind of giving up on, on life. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if I can't do it here, where can I do it? Where can I find
Definitely.
sort of control? So I decided to keep on going, and yeah, this was in the face of other people doubting me as well as myself.
Mm. What would you say was the breakthrough moment? What is it that when it clicked for you, would you say? I know obviously you took the courses, you worked with me, but what would you say is the defining point, if there was one? Maybe it was a few different things that added up.
I think it was a slow. I can't think of a one particular point in time where
Yeah.
I said this is. It was a kind of a slow change where little habits that I
Yeah.
had I started to kind of reframe them and make them more positive. I think it was quite helpful as well when I did not only your course but also this course with on meditating,
Yeah.
Joe Dispenza.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
big fan of him. And so just being a little bit more kind to
Yes.
myself and to visualize a little bit more about what you want. That's one of the main things in your course is, well, what is your why?
Yeah.
So that was a big one. I hadn't really thought of that. So, well, what is your why? Yeah. And once
Mm.
you're clear about that, then you have an aim and you have a focus, and then you know what you're working towards then. Otherwise, you're a bit rudderless. You're kind of drifting.
Yeah.
So I started to visualize. I started to really focus on what my goals were. And I drew up this kind of efficiency list, if you like, this, you know, little habits that one should do during the day.
Mm.
And that really helped me to focus and to go into a bit more control, a little bit more balance. Yeah. So if I
Yeah.
did have a losing trade, I wouldn't immediately get triggered and go straight to revenge trading. I'd step away, reframe. Oh, it was a
Yeah.
nice, good lesson to learn. Okay, let's move on to the next one. And to reframe this negative thinking that I'd had before and this kind of
Yeah.
emotional triggers. And
Yeah.
that was probably the breakthrough. And that your course very much focused on this idea of reframing
Yeah.
negative thinking, on looking at little techniques that you could do just to gain that control, to recognize and observe your own behavior through
Mhm.
journaling. Nice, a really nice the emotional tracker that you had there. That was quite,
Yeah.
I'm still using that.
Use
That's
that one, don't it?
really
Yeah.
useful, this emotional tracker. So you kind of you're kind of observing your emotions as you're going through the process, before, during, and after. And that made a huge difference. That really did. And you kind of, then you are, what's the word, responsible. You're taking responsibility
Yeah.
for your trading decisions and for your emotional state. You're not blaming the markets.
Yeah.
You're not. Yeah, you're taking responsibility for your own kind of your own thoughts, and that was the big breakthrough. I think it was just having
Yeah.
that different perspective on how to deal with the issues with the losses, etc.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you touched on that word awareness, and awareness is key. I love it when traders say that because it shows emotional maturity in the trader. You know, awareness is the key. Once you've got the awareness of whatever it is that's hindering your trading, whether it be technical or emotional, you know, once you gain that awareness, you can start to understand it and then take the actions to overcome it, which is what we worked with you. I think we it was the first lesson we worked together on the reframing techniques. It, you know, challenging them negative thoughts, finding evidence against them, and it really, really helps. But you need to gain that awareness first, and which you touched on then is that emotional tracker. You know, journaling your emotions, journaling your actions, everything, getting that awareness. But most traders don't want to do that because they're avoiding responsibility by not doing it. They don't have to accept these things, you know. So it takes courage to start doing that kind of thing. So for the listeners, sorry, the people who are watching, you know, journaling is so important, and Leo is a shining example of why that is important. So
Is
well
it,
touched.
yeah, it's a real drag. You know, journaling is not particularly fun. There's a
No,
lot of stuff that you have to do, but if once you get into the habit of it, it's quite good because you can look back and see where your development is, see where your mistakes are. If you
yeah,
don't do that, then you're in the dark. You can't develop unless you see what mistakes you're making and why, and then learn from that. And if you don't write that down, then it's very much more, it's a longer process. You can still probably do it, but it's
yeah,
a longer process to consistent profitability.
yeah. You just yeah, you're just going around in circles for a bit. You just have to have that moment where you're like, right, I need to start taking this serious. This is it now. But I think once you start doing that, then the ball starts rolling a bit more. I think.
Yeah, it's a business. Yeah, if you treat it
Yeah.
as a business, not just as a kind of just
Oh,
like gambling, which a lot of, and that's why a lot of
yeah.
people lose. They don't really have an edge. They don't
Mm.
really know what they're doing. They don't educate themselves, and they just think, it's like going to the casino.
Yeah. 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 I see that a lot. But yeah, taking it serious, like you said, trade like a business. Once you start doing that, that's when it starts taking off. And I also like how you touched on one of the lessons that I always go on about, which is what is your why? Now, it's so important. You need to know why you want to trade. You know, most traders say they want to make 100K a year. Okay, that's great, but why 100K? Why not a million? It's what that money can do for you. What is it? What's the emotional connection behind it? Because once you find that, you know, discipline sort of becomes a byproduct of a strong why. But also, when you know why, you can then make the plan to get there, you know, and then you realize the little steps and the domino effect that it creates to get you there just by taking that setup, you know, all these things start to make more sense. So, would you agree with that, Leo?
Yeah, I do. I've got that written down. If you,
Oh,
I can't show you, but on the wall, yeah, I've got my different steps that I need to take
yeah,
on a daily basis, a weekly
yeah.
basis, a monthly basis, a yearly
That's the
basis.
visuals we did, weren't it?
Yeah, that's the visual. So I've got them written up on the wall, and then
Yeah,
around my computer here, I've got some of the key things that I should focus on each day. So it reminds me when I'm trading. I've got down here position sizes, everything. I've got here, you are your decisions. And one that I took from you, which I liked, I get paid to execute. And then there's one up here, no setup, no trade.
yeah.
I've got one here, wake up and live now.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
That's
I always find having the visual cues really help. You know, even if it's just a quote. But yeah, one of the lessons we did together was on that visual when we discussed hyperbolic discounting. When you see the steps from like the long term broken down into the small term, so you realize what that one thing can do, you know, understand it. And then we created the visual, didn't we? Where we could say, this is what, if I do this one thing now, this will help me get to my weekly goal. Do that weekly goal, it helps me get to the monthly, yearly, and then that someday goal. And just by doing that, having that visual understanding, the domino effect of your decisions can be a powerful motivator. So yeah, that's something that helped me in my training as well, having that visual of it.
Yeah, you can remind yourself of that each day as
Yeah,
well.
it's the first thing you see in it, before you take a trade. So yeah, very good stuff. Um, so what else should we talk about, Leo? What would you say? Um, just let me go through my questions. So how would you describe the support you received during our sessions together?
Oh, it was great. You were very flexible regarding
Yeah,
the times, etc. And it's not like, well, okay, well, the hour's over now and bye-bye. It was
yeah.
like,
We
if
we
you
went on a bit, didn't we?
you need to contact me if there's anything else, then you were very, very flexible, very open to, the different issues that I had. So I very much appreciated that. It was a good connection. You
Yeah,
listen. Yeah, when you hear, often in life you have people who are very willing to talk about themselves, but they're not so willing to listen to you. Yeah, I've noticed that more and more, especially as a teacher.
yeah,
It's a very key skill if you're going to be a coach or a teacher to listen to others, to be able to identify what their issues are and to help them. And I felt that you did that very well. You listened to what my issues were and you directly addressed them. And I really felt that you kind of tuned into that. That was what I appreciated most.
brilliant. Yeah. No, I'm glad you said that, Leo. That means a lot. Thank you. And I think that is half the battle. I think you have to just listen, and it's not so much. Or when you're coaching someone, it's not always so much about giving them the answers. It's letting them speak and find the answers themselves. Just by listening, you can do that. And I think that's what a good coach can do. You know, let them find their own answers just by listening.
Well, exactly. Yeah, and then play it back to them, and then you
Yeah,
often come up with your own solutions, but you just need to have that mirrored. Yeah, and that I think that's you did that rather well. You obviously had well prepared materials, but you adapted them. I quite like that. So you had the material, and then we discussed it, and I said, "Oh, well, that was a bit overwhelming for me."
yeah,
So you went, "Okay, well, that's good. Then I'll cut that down, and we'll just simplify that a little bit." So you adapted some of the material. You didn't just say, "Okay, here,
yeah.
this is your material. Off you
Off you
go,
go.
do that."
Yeah,
You listened to the feedback that I gave you and then you adapted it, which I appreciated as well.
brilliant. And that word then adapted. So, as you probably know, Leo, in the course, and what I always say to all the traders is adapt the strategy to your personality. So take my templates, but make it your own, mold it to you. And that's something you've done as well. You don't trade the exact same way as me. Um, and that way you trade better. So if you could just tell us a little bit about that, how you've adapted it, how it
Yeah,
helps you,
that's
and then
so important. That's the most important thing, I think, because
yeah,
obviously you have a particular system and you're kind of you're showing all of us. You kind of pulled your pants down and there's like here's my system, win or lose. This is what I do. And take what you like from it and adapt it to what you want, and which is what I did. I very much like your use of Bollinger Bands
yeah,
and the kind of taking liquidity, looking at the different support and resistance levels. This is all good stuff. And you have your particular system. So I took what I liked from that, which was a lot of it, and then kind of adapted it to my own strategy, which was slightly shorter time frames. You're going more for swing trading, although I noticed that you're having more short-term setups
yeah,
recently,
turn
but
back
you're
down.
generally going for more longer-term setups, which I can understand because of time issues. You're very busy, and so, but I'm still going for them at the short-term options, which I quite like. So I've really focused in on that. And yeah, I think it's so important. I think I mentioned to you earlier, I've been reading Bollinger on Bollinger Bands, John Bollinger, because I love
Yeah,
this indicator. And he says in the book, there's a chapter that says in this book, be your own master. Independence and independent thinking are the keys. It is very uncomfortable to go with the crowd and to do as others are doing or as they tell you to do. This is a road fraught with peril. Consider Robert Frost's The Road Not Taken. I think we know this poem, it's like you take your own path and as he says here, your path created, maintained, and traveled by yourself will be that path less traveled, for it will be yours and yours alone. No one else will be able to follow it, just as you will be unable to follow anyone else's path successfully. You do not share their vision, their sensitivities, or their cares, and they do not share yours. In investing, there is no holy grail other than the one you fashion for yourself. Now, I think that's fantastic. I really agree with that. And the system that you set up is excellent in that regard, because you give so many different options in the course, and then people can take from it what appeals to them, and then make it their own. I think that's great.
Yeah, no, cheers, Leo. No, and that's what that was the aim of the course, to really dive into creating your own system. So when people ask me, what are the returns, what are the trade manage, what are how many trades do you get, things like that, you know, and it makes me laugh because the system can be adapted to you and your goals. So this going back to what we said, you need to understand what it is that you want goal wise, and this can be adapted to it. So for example, I do a bit of swing trading, you're doing a bit of day trading. The system works on all the different time frames, and the management is going to be individual, and that's going to be that means if you want a high win rate, you go for shorter targets. If you want bigger returns, you go for bigger risk to rewards, and that's how it can be individualized. So it's not one system fits all, and just like that poem said, it needs to fit you, and I think that sums it up perfectly.
Yeah.
So what time frame are you trading? Is it the 15 1 hour primarily?
1 hour. I look at the 4 hour for support and resistance.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
4 hour, so the key day and 4 hour, but mainly 4 hour for
yeah,
key support and resistance. And then it's executing on the 1 hour and the 15-minute time frames. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Brilliant. So I think we've covered basically everything there. We've had a good little chat.
Yeah.
And so what are your goals for the future, Leo?
Well, I would like. I mean, I've been teaching for a long time, over
Yeah.
20 years, 25 years. So I would like to kind of go away a little bit more and start to be a bit more to do training as a profession.
Mm.
But of course, that's a different ball game altogether. You don't have anything to fall back on. At least with the teaching, I have that as a steady
Yeah,
income.
yeah,
So it's juggling that as to how much to go into full-time trading. My main kind of goal also, as far as trading is concerned, is getting consistency regarding position sizing. I think that's a big, when you step up,
yeah,
it's, when you're trading small, that's fine. That's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm still trading relatively small amounts, small lots, and that's okay. But when you step up, then that's a different psychological level. So that's again another goal of mine, is to be able
yeah,
to be a little bit more consistent with position sizing. That's been an issue in the past, and moving up a level when you're trading a little bit higher amounts,
yeah,
that's also a challenge. So those are my main goals going forward. Yeah.
yeah. No, that's great. And I can understand that once you start going up a bit higher in capital, it can be a bit intimidating, especially when you are used to that certain amount, you
Yeah.
know. But the key is obviously, you just want to keep focusing on that process. Our multiple percentage based thinking, try and remove that
Yeah,
emotion.
I mean, exactly. If you don't have that consistency, then the
Yeah,
magic of the R multiple doesn't work, does it? And
yeah,
that's something I need to work on, because if you're not consistent with that, then the results you get are also inconsistent.
yeah. I'll tell you a little tip that you can do with that. If you are jumping up in capital, say you've got like an investor or anything, a little trick that I do is I'll have my master account. So I'll make it a small account, like maybe like 10K, something like that. And I'll have it linked up to all these other accounts. So when if I do have a losing position or something, it only shows it as a small loss
Yeah.
on this small account. So I'm not concentrating on the other ones. I'm
Yeah.
not seeing big losses. That's just a little snap that
Okay.
I did that might help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Sure.
you
Sure.
know,
Sounds good. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But no,
I
it's a
mean,
very common thing. But once you get used to it, though, that becomes your new norm, and
yeah.
then you might size up again, and it's just there's that little uncomfortable period that you have to get used to. you know. But as long as you have the right perspective in front of you, you know why you're doing it, keeping that
Yeah.
goal clear,
Yeah.
you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Just don't deviate. So yeah, that's that. And yeah, I just wanted to touch on the side income thing. So obviously you're doing your teaching and your trading. Uh, Now something I always say to traders is, you know, having a side income is good. If you're just relying totally on trading, you know, you're going to be far more susceptible to that emotional trading. You know, if you have to make money to put food on the table, you're not trading from a calm perspective. You know, it's more of a fear-based perspective, which can be dangerous in trading. So there's nothing wrong with having a side income, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so, you know, you could maybe go part time, have a bit of work going on if that's easier for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, but there's a big stigma that you know you have to be full time. You have to just trade. You can't have any other income streams. You know,
Yeah.
like traders who sell courses like me and things. You know, it's to help people obviously, but also it helps me stay balanced. You know, so these things are important to think about.
Yeah, to be service orientated is good. I mean, as I said, I'm a teacher.
Mhm.
Coaching, teaching, this is service orientated, where you are helping others. And I think if you do that, I mean, I've been questioned about, trading as a livelihood. People have said to been quite aggressive to me and saying, well,
Really,
you're just a pariah.
wow,
This is not helping anybody. This is just selfishness. I've
really,
had, I've been people attacking me like that and saying that it should be banned. I've even had that said, shouldn't be allowed. It's like,
wow,
what? It's obviously from ignorance.
yeah, of
People don't
course,
really understand what it is. When it is basically ignorance. Yeah,
yeah,
people have this idea that people who are going to trading, they just want the Ferrari and
yeah.
the quick money and whatever. They have no idea that that's not
No,
for most people, for most profitable traders. It's not like that at all.
yeah,
It's a completely false image that they
yeah,
have. So, but it's
yeah,
difficult to explain to people that that's not how it is actually. It's nothing glamorous about trading at all. It can be quite monotonous and
yeah,
boring. Yeah.
100%.
So that's another thing
Yeah,
that one has to deal with. Yeah, it's other people's ignorance and
yeah,
prejudice as to what you're
yeah.
trying to achieve.
You know, the best thing you can do is just not tell anyone what you do. When people ask me, I just say I work in finance, and that
Yeah.
usually kills the conversation. But yeah, but, there is this image, you know, in the social media thing that doesn't help. You know, the Lambos and yeah, everyone just sees it as a scam. You know, 'cause there's a lot of bad mentors out there. So, but for the people watching, you know, when you see people doing that, you know, they're the ones you want to stay away from. If they're showing the profit and loss statement, the profit, well, I say profit and loss, just the profits, Lamborghinis, bought parties, you know, they're not traders, you know. They, like you touched on, you know, true trading is mundane. It's all about routines, doing the same things day in, day out. It's not very exciting, is it?
No, no, I think that's when people maybe they give up then because that's what they want.
Yeah,
They want excitement.
yeah,
They don't want to make money. They just want to have excitement, like going to the casino. I think that's maybe where a lot of people fall down
I
is
think so
because
too.
they want to go into it for the wrong reason. Their why is excitement. Yeah, and
Yes.
that's something that maybe that people should think about. Yeah, if you want to make money, from the markets, looking for excitement is not going to help you. It's gonna have the opposite effect. That's something I learned very early on. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you want excitement, yeah, you can have that, and you're going to lose a lot of money along the way, and everybody else will be rubbing their hand. All those that are patient will be rubbing their hands.
yeah. You know, it reminds me of that Ed Secoda quotes. You know, some people play to win, and others play to lose. You know, very fitting, very true.
Yeah,
So yeah, Leo, it's been fantastic to speak to you. Absolute pleasure, and I'm so proud of what you've done so far. And I can't wait to see you grow even more. You've got a lot ahead of you. So yeah,
thanks,
very
Alan.
well done.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the future.
Yeah, yeah. And I wish you all the best, my friend.
Thank you.
Um, we'll speak soon. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next YouTube video. Take care.